Welcome to this week's edition of Black Authors Matter TV, where we interview the latest movers and shakers in the African American literary community. You'll meet some old friends, discover new ones, and stay abreast of the latest book developments around the country and even the world. So sit back and relax for the next 2 hours with Black Authors Matter TV co-hosts Gwen Richardson and Dr. Rhonda Lawson.
Good evening. You've reached the last edition for the month of August of Black Authors Matter TV. I'm Gwen Richardson, your host for tonight, along with my co-host,
Dr. Rhonda Lawson. Good evening, everyone.
And we missed you last week, Rhonda. I had to try to figure out how to do the stuff. I had a little help from my friends,
Well, you know what? Friends always come through. They do.
They were doing, they know what time it is, and they were doing some of the back end stuff. I was proud of them. So anyway, awesome. We have another amazing show for tonight with 4 amazing guests. And just an update, the National Black Book Festival is rapidly approaching. I think we're 8 or 9 weeks out. And we've been sold out for 2 months, more or less. And I get 4 or 5 people a day wanting to get in. And I just tell them there's no possibility for this year. Plan early for 2025. We're going to have the most authors we've had ever this year. So it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. So anyway, did you have anything you wanted to add, Rhonda, before we bring our first guest on?
Not really, but I do want to announce that the Horticulture Book Awards, the submissions will be open on September 1st. So I hope to see some great fiction authors who are participating in this contest. It's going to be amazing.
Okay, and we are going to give a book away. I didn't get a chance to give it away last week because it was just too much. Doing double duty is difficult. So I didn't do it. So we still have the book. We'll talk about that after this first interview. So our first guest, this is her first appearance on Black Authors Matter TV. Her name is Sharon M. Draper, and she writes books for middle grade children, students. And she's got lots of books in her backlist, but she also has a new book coming out called Out of My Dreams, and it releases next week. So we welcome her to Black Authors Matter TV.
Well, I'm glad to be here. This is exciting.
We're glad to have you.
And you've been on our radar for quite some time. We did, sometimes it's hard to get a direct person to invite.
To get a connection.
Get a connection. Yeah. So we took a little while, but you've been on our radar for quite some time.
Oh, good.
You keep releasing books. I'm delighted. You keep writing books. So tell us a little bit about how you started and why you focused on the middle grade student.
I was a teacher for like 9,000 years. And I taught reading and writing and literature. And, my job was to teach kids to express themselves in the written word. And I had been playing with writing. I wrote poetry. I've got a couple of books of poetry stuck in a back closet someplace. And I've got, I've been a writer all my life, but I didn't really start writing until Tears of a Tiger came out. And it's my little bald-headed Andy. And that was the very first one. And this was way back in 1997.
I remember that book. I remember the title.
It's still being used in schools. It's a little bit dated,
Has it always had that same cover?
Oh, no, it's had a couple of covers.
Yeah, I remember it with a different cover.
Yeah. And so that was the first one. That was the thing that started it all. And you remember the Ebony Magazine writing contest?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won that one year. And
Oh,
that was proof. Okay, girl, you can write. So
yeah.
so
Did they only award one winner, or did they have like different
I think they
categories?
only at that time they were only doing one per year. And
So you
I
had to beat out a lot of other people.
yeah, so I won for that year. And the story that they chose, it the story that I used that I submitted ended up being chapter 1 of Forged by Fire, which is a sequel to Tears of a Tiger.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I got launched into it. I've always been a writer. I've always been a reader. I've got a zillion books around me all the time. But I didn't really know I could write till I started writing. I said, hey, I can do this. And, after you've read 9,000 zillion billion books with kids, I ought to be able to write one.
I
So,
love your counting system. I've got to tell you.
yes, it was at least 9,000 zillion billion, at least.
Now behind you are some shelves with books, and it looks like multiple copies of the same book.
Yes.
So are those your books?
Yes, those are mine.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
when a
Okay.
book comes out, they send you a little box of books,
Okay.
so I can give them to friends or family or whoever. But
Okay.
they send a little box that's mine to do with what I want. So those are my samples for. I've got one of everything that I've written, or several of everything that I've written back there. And
I'm about to say that looks like more than one now.
what?
Said it looks like more than one of everything you've written.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've got multiple copies. That way, if somebody says, "I need a copy of," I've got one for you.
Okay. So how many titles do you have released up to the one that
Uh,
you're releasing
oh,
next week? Do you know about how many?
30, 32, 30. I think it's in the 30s.
Into the 30s. Okay.
Yeah.
And are all of them middle grade?
No, I wrote a few for elementary.
Okay.
I wrote the Ziggy books, and those were featuring Black boys.
I
Where's my
remember
Ziggy books?
Ziggy.
Oh, you
I
gotta
remember
find Ziggy.
Ziggy.
Ziggy and the Black Dinosaurs. Here you go.
Yeah, I remember Ziggy. I remember
Yeah,
hearing about Ziggy.
Ziggy. Yeah, there's the Ziggy books. This is Ziggy and the Black Dinosaurs.
Okay.
Larry. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these. And they
Oh,
ended up calling them the Clubhouse Mysteries. But these are just um I started writing them because of my two sons. They would go in the backyard and they make a fire in the backyard. What are you doing making a fire? They dig for treasure, and they got in trouble. And so I just took my boys and some of their adventures and made it fictional and created a whole neighborhood of kids. So those are the books, and that's for third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade age.
are those chapter books? Are those like
Yes,
starter chapter books?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the kind of thing to get kids started, and like I try to do things like this. This one takes place in space camp, so they can see themselves as potential astronauts. This
Okay.
one is the backyard animals show, so they can see themselves expanding beyond just school and home, and
Yes.
they start collecting animals, and they get loose in the ladies' kitchen, and that kind of thing. So
Okay.
there are 6 total Ziggy books.
Okay. Now, are any of your sons, either of your sons named Ziggy, or was that
No,
for
I made that up.
you made that up? Okay.
Ziggy Marley was real popular at the
Right.
time.
I was
Yeah,
just
Right. I was
about to
gonna ask
ask
about
that.
Ziggy Marley.
yeah.
Okay.
But no, I didn't put their real names in there.
Okay.
Remember once my daughter had a friend over to the house, and she was just laughing and giggling, and my daughter said, "Don't talk in front of my mother." And she said, "Why?" "She'll put you in a book."
But you changed the names to protect the innocent.
Yeah. It's all fiction.
Yeah. Now, one of our viewers, Susan Rhodey, she said she's so excited to be here. and she learned so much from you at Walnut Hills.
Oh, what's her name?
Susan, I think Rohde, Rohde.
Yeah, or it could be road.
that might be her married name. I don't remember it
Oh,
as a.
okay.
Well, I would tell you, and it's got to be amazing when when your students remember you and they still love you after all this time.
And many of them grew up to be teachers, and they write to me. I remember once I went to a school, and the teacher was teaching 8th grade, and I had taught her in 8th grade. So
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Then
yeah,
Well,
she
she said her
responded,
last. Okay,
and
she
she
said her
said
last name was Gambill back then, Gambill, and she
uh,
said her brother was there as well.
her brother
uh,
Michael was there too, she said.
I remember that name. I remember the last name.
Because you've had lots and lots of students,
Oh
probably
yeah,
thousands
oh
over
yeah.
the years.
10 years,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
5 classes of how they divide them up during the day, and so but I
Yeah.
enjoyed it, and that is how I learned how kids think, how kids act, how kids react, how they react with each other. And some of these, like with the teen books, they're a little bit dated because technology has caught up with us.
Right.
These
Yeah.
kids are not
Yeah.
on a tablet or a phone all the time. They
Yeah.
actually go outside and play. They actually, walk around the neighborhood and talk to each other. So I need to write a more contemporary book with what kids are actually doing today. But okay.
Yeah, it's good to write from a vantage point of what we want kids to do, what we would like them to be doing,
Yeah.
as opposed to what they actually are doing. Although I have a children's book series, and the kids, they don't really play outside, but they talk about doing things and using, like, shopping online.
What's
Mine
the
is newer.
what's the name of
My
the series?
series is called Kids Biz, and it teaches
I've
children
seen
how to
that.
be entrepreneurs.
I've seen that. I've seen
Oh
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Well, it
Yeah.
has 3 friends on there, and it's for like 5 years, 5 to 8, 5 to maybe 10, maybe.
Okay.
But it's each book, they do something different to earn money for things they want.
Wonderful. Oh, that is so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I have to get that for my grandkids.
well, I would love you to, but all my
I'm
books are on
sure.
Amazon.
Yeah, I think the other good thing, even if you don't update the book, I think sometimes it's good for kids of today to see that kids of yesterday were not that different.
Right.
They may
Yeah.
not have had the video games or or social media, but their cares, the way they had fun
Right.
was still pretty
Right.
similar.
Right. Their concerns, their worries, their
Yes.
concerns about their parents, because a kid can't do anything, if the household is not in order. And
Yeah.
so I put all of that in there. I've got, like one of them, Forged by Fire, deals with child abuse, and nice kid, but his stepfather beats him up, and so it deals with child abuse, and I touch on some touchy things, but on a level that a teenager can understand. I don't go too deep.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, maybe in reading about kids who do other things other than sit on their phones or tablets all day, or video games, maybe they'll get some ideas and do. There's actually like science and about development and children of today that they need more interaction. And COVID didn't help the
Right.
situation.
Oh yeah.
It
Yeah.
really exacerbated the beginnings of it.
Exactly.
And it's human interaction is crucial for us
Right.
as human beings,
Right.
adults and children, but especially children because they're not fully formed yet. They're developing.
Yeah. I worry a little bit about these children of the pandemic.
Yes.
They didn't get what we got in the school with the teacher and the rules and the desks and they didn't get
Right.
that. They did everything online for a couple of years. It
Right.
was and I think as they become adults, it's going to show up. that there's something missing from that group because they didn't get that classroom instruction at
Right,
the
right.
time where they should have.
It's probably going to show up before then, but
Yeah.
including adulthood.
Mhm.
So tell us about your new book, Out of My Mind. It's a series, and do you have a arc? Because it comes out next week.
I
But
do. I've got 2 new books. Uh,
Michael Gambill is on too, and he said it's such a pleasure to see you and hear your voice after all these years. So
Hi,
her
Michael.
brother,
You
her
probably have
brother's
homework due. Okay,
so
the newest book is called Out of My Dreams. So it's Out of My Mind, and then the second one is Out of My Heart. And I wasn't going to write a third one, but then I did. And this one
okay.
is Out of My Dreams. Same characters. In this one, the main character, her name is Melody, and she's disabled,
Okay.
seriously disabled. And uh, but she saves the life. In the first chapter, she saves somebody's life, mostly because she knew how to call 911. And she ends up taking a trip to London because I had to change the scenery. In the second book, she goes to summer camp. So it's all about sleeping in a strange bed away from home and, meeting up with other children and, you know, expanding your horizons to include friendship because these kids do need friends. So that was the second one. And the third one, I put her on an airplane and sent her to London. And the premise that gets her there is she's outside. I mean, she's in her bedroom and she's looking out her window, and she sees um, she sees the lady across the street fall down. It's an old lady, and she falls down. And so, Melody is the only one who witnesses this. And so she has to figure out a way to call 911 to help this lady. Nobody else is around. Her mother is downstairs doing the wash, so she is the one who saves this lady's life. And she kind of becomes a little, Facebook famous for a few minutes because this girl who can't do anything managed to save the life of this lady who ended up being a famous actress from a long time ago. She was like 90 something, but back in the day, she was a famous actress. So, so in the whole book takes place, 99% of it takes place in London. And I had to go to London for research. Such sacrifice I did.
You poor thing.
Yeah. And but visiting for a couple of days and knowing London is 2 different things. I have a stack of books this big on research. I do in-depth research for every single book. And I look into, like, especially for something like London, where is Trafalgar Square? How far is this street from this street? Is there a library there and could she get to it? So I had to go to London to research, but that one will be out next week, I think.
Right, September 3rd.
Other one that I'm really proud of that will
Okay.
be out, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks after this one. I'm not sure what their release date is, but I know they're letting them all out before Christmas because they're not stupid. And this one, this one is called Bella Ballerina. And this has
So
been
cute.
in I've never done a picture book before. And this was
Okay.
done, was inspired by my granddaughter who started, my daughter owns a dance studio. So, and she's a expert dancer. Her mom did not get that gift. I got different gifts.
But
But
you made sure she got it.
yeah, she got the dance gift.
Mhm.
And so she works with the little ones. And so when my granddaughter was 3, I started working on this. She's now 8 and can read it by herself. But it's about a little girl who takes dance lessons, and she learns something, but it's funny, it's uplifting, and it's got really, really good illustrations. The illustrator is Ebony Glenn, and she's an African American woman, and she did a really good job of capturing the, the different, the teacher, the children, there's a little bit of different ethnicities, all,
Mhm.
but
I
it's
can see
just
that.
enough to be realistic. It's not pointed, but
Mhm.
this is, and it's in rhyme, and it's just about a little girl who goes to dance class and has to learn something, and the conclusion at the end is they have to do a show, and they have to go on stage, and they have to wear a costume, and they have to put on makeup, and for a little one, that's exciting. So that's called Bella Ballerina, and that will be out, I don't know, soon. I think they're not putting them out at the same time because they don't want to confuse people. So Out of My Dreams they're focusing on first, and then later on, maybe in a couple of months, they will release the ballet book.
Well, how many books will that make for you?
I think 35.
You said 30 something.
30 something.
Wow,
I think
that's
35.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
I've been blessed.
When did your first book come out?
Whew, that's going to tell you how old I am.
Well,
But it was back in the 90s. Tears of a Tiger came out in 1997.
okay. Okay.
Yes.
I think you did mention that.
Yes,
Yeah.
you
So it's
did.
been
I was,
over a
I was
trying
a
to
child.
a period of
Yes.
time.
I was 12.
So not quite 30 years, but
Yeah.
getting there.
Yeah.
So when you did you anticipate releasing all these books when you wrote the first one?
No. I was a teacher, and I knew I could write because I knew how to teach writing, and I would scribble and write things myself all the time. But I had this idea to write a book for the kids that I'm reading, because you know what they make you do. We had to read Charles Dickens and Silas Marner and all of the books that are put in the curriculum for kids to read. There was nothing. Oh, we got to read one Langston Hughes poem every year. But unless I brought in extra activities for the kids, there was not a whole lot of racial differentiation in the books early on. You know that.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, when I wrote the book, I was teaching high school, and people say, "Well, which student is that?" I don't know. When you work with 8 classes a day, they all kind of merge together. But it's about a boy, um, who just wants to get out of 9th grade. I mean, he plays basketball. He likes a girl. There's nothing outstanding about him except what happens to him. And in chapter 1, he and his best friend are driving around acting silly, had something to drink, and they have an accident, and one of them is killed. And so it's like it hits them real hard, and deals with grief, it deals with guilt, it deals with all of the emotions that goes along with that. And I've received so many letters from kids that said, "I've never had anybody write about death before. I had this happen in my family, and my mother, my aunt, my uncle, my brother, my sister, and it helped me to have a way to cope with a death situation in my life." So,
I was just going to ask you, I always admire children's authors who can write about such serious issues in a way for a child to understand. And when you write about death, and I know that these aren't young readers, but still, they're still
yeah,
in that young
yeah,
developing
they're
age. How do you
teenagers. Yeah.
write about something like that and then be able to write it in a way that resonates with them?
I don't know. When kids ask me that questions like that, I say, if you put me in the kitchen on Thanksgiving Day, you would kick me out because I'm not a very good cook. That's not my gift. You know, I'm not a good cook. But if you give me a bunch of words and you give me a story, I can write a story. So I tell kids all the time, you have to find your gift. You know, if your gift is the saxophone, then go for it. If that's what makes you happy, do it. That's what you're good at. If it's easy for you. Some kids can draw. I can't draw. You know, I do the stick figure thing. But if you have that gift, then do it. If you have art as a gift, if you like painting. So when I talk to students, I tell them, you don't have to be like me. You just have to find what your gift is, because everybody has,
Right.
and
Yes.
then focus on that. And you'll never be unhappy if you're doing what your gift is, you know, through the rest of your life. You got to get a job, so you may as well get a job doing something that you enjoy.
Right. Yeah,
Amen.
that's like the best of both worlds or all worlds if you're able to do for a living what you really enjoy. Most
Exactly.
people don't necessarily get to do that. A lot of times their job is what is their necessary thing,
Right,
and
right,
they do their gift thing on the
right.
side.
Yeah, like you know, I want to be a writer, but I'm a packer for Amazon, you know, and
Yeah.
people don't have,
Mhm.
you know, you have to do what you
Have
can
to
do.
do.
I was very, very fortunate to be able to, um, you know, to climb up that ladder and do those. I talk to a lot of students and I try to encourage them. I try to tell them, yes, you can, but you know, I tell them this book went through something like 600 revisions, and I don't mean commas and capital letters. It's like chapter 12 sucks, rewrite it completely. So yeah, so
Okay.
the editing process is very intense and takes as as long or longer than it did to write the book.
Yeah.
It
Um,
can.
yeah, one of the viewers, Anna Marie Smith, said that we read Tears of a Tiger in high school for summer reading, and it was phenomenal and so emotional.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's a
Yeah.
little bit dated because he has to go inside and pick up the phone off of the kids don't even know what that means to go inside and pick up the
I love
phone
watching the
with
YouTube
a
and
cord.
Instagram videos of the kids trying to pick up a phone
Yeah,
and they don't know how to use it. They're like, how do
yeah,
you use this
yeah.
thing?
They don't know how to dial with the
Especially
so
a rotary phone.
Yeah,
yes, that's
rotary
yeah,
is
yeah,
really
rotary phone.
that's really
Yeah.
taking you back.
Well, I
But
did also want to let you know that the viewer's brother popped on, and I don't know if you saw his comment, but I thought it was so beautiful and I wanted to read it to you.
No,
He
I
said,
don't have
Mrs.
the
D,
comments.
it's such a pleasure to see you and hear your voice after all these years. I'm so excited for the world to see the amazing educator I've known for 40 years. You changed my life at Walnut Hills.
What's his name?
Michael Gamble.
Oh, Michael. Yes, of course. I do remember Michael. Um, you know, and sometimes I'll run into them in the mall, and sometimes I remember once I did a school visit, and a little girl raised her hand. She was like 5, and I said, "What do you need, sweetie?" And she said, "You taught my grandma." I said, "You just better yo."
You know, it's
that's
very interesting though, because my daughter and my mother both graduated from the same school. So my mother graduated in 1968. My daughter graduated in 2018. They had the same chemistry teacher.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
her my mother's chemistry teacher, when that was her first job. Um,
Okay, so when
she
she
was
she
like
was just
very
getting
young when
started.
she started
Yeah,
teaching
yeah.
chemistry. And so she's been teaching at that same school all these years. And
Wow.
then one day my daughter was complaining about her chemistry teacher. And my mom said, well, what's her name? And when she said her name, she goes, that was my teacher.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, some
Yeah.
people really just love it and they're good at it and
Mhm.
they make it like, their careers for all their years. Well, um, Sharon, we're at the end of our interview time.
My
It
goodness,
went
that went
by
so
It
so
goes
fast.
fast.
fast. It
It
really
goes by
does.
fast.
Yeah.
But
Uh, let me talk real quick about Copper Sun. Um, this is for older kids, and this was inspired
Beautiful cover.
from I made several trips to Africa, and
Okay.
somewhere in the process of all those trips, I came out of this. It's called Copper Sun. It's about a girl who's happy, in love, got a mama who loves her, a daddy who loves her, a boyfriend who's cute, and you know, everything is perfect in her life, and then the slavers come, and so the story is her story
Oh,
from
okay.
happiness in the motherland to being on a ship and being a slave in the new world.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's Copper Sun, and that's for older kids. That's I'd say
Mhm.
8th grade and up.
Well, you certainly have an amazing body of work that students of all ages can enjoy. So we really appreciate your having such a commitment to literature and to young readers. And we know you're going to be continually successful.
Well, thank
Yes,
you.
and we did put your link in the
Okay.
chat. So if
Okay.
anybody wants to support any of these beautiful books, you can just click on www.sharondraper.com
Yes.
/books.
Okay. And they can also I'm on email and Facebook too, so they know how to find me. The kids know how to do that. Uh, so and if they send me an email, I will respond. Might not be quick, but I will respond. And
Okay.
you know, for the young people, I just want to tell them, find a book and read it. Find something that fascinates you. Find the thing that makes you happy. You know, if you're good at the clarinet, then do that. You know, if you're good at
Amen.
baseball, then do that. Find the thing that makes you happy. You got to work all your life. You may as well enjoy it.
Well, thank you so
Thank
much again, and
It's so
all
much
the
fun.
best to you in your future career as a writer.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This was delightful. I really, really enjoyed it. I don't get a chance to have this kind of conversation, you know, and we need more of this. We need more of these.
Amen. Amen.
Do you know the work of Sharon Flake?
I've heard the name, but
She's
she hasn't
another
been on the show.
she's another African American author who we kind of write about the same age group, the same taste, and we've run into each other a lot at conferences and stuff. And you know, we do the Sharon and Sharon show. But look up Sharon Flake. She'd be a good person to interview, and she's got a
Okay.
couple of new books coming out.
Okay,
Awesome.
we'll
Thanks
do
so
that.
much. We'll look her up.
Okay. Well,
Okay,
this was
have a great
delightful.
night.
Thank you so much. I really,
Thank
really
you.
enjoyed it. Thanks for
Bye-bye.
having me. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
All right. That was Sharon M. Draper, and she has a huge body of work. And so we are going, we do have the book to give away, but we're going to, since we're running a little over, we're going to do our second interview, and then we're going to give away the book. Well, we're going to tell you the book and what the trivia is surrounding the book. So we want to welcome Toni Shiloh to the show. She is a Christian fiction author. I think all of her books are Christian fiction, but if that's not the case, she will let us know. And so, Toni, welcome to Black Authors Matter TV.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for being here.
Now you have a new one. Your newest book came out a couple of months ago called A Run at Love,
Yes.
and you look like you have the same. Is is your shelving behind you virtual or is it actual shelves?
It's virtual.
Oh, okay. Because it looks like a similar. Is that your shelf though behind
No,
yours? Is
it's
not
not.
okay. Okay, because I was gonna say it looks like you have a lot extra copies of your own books again behind you, like the previous guest did. But um, tell us about your new book, A Run at Love, and do you have a copy of it?
I do. Right
Okay,
here.
all right, A
Um,
Run at Love. Can you hold it up a little while longer just so we can see it, and all the
sure.
way up so we can see the bottom too? Okay, that's colorful. I like the art.
Yeah, so it's actually the second book in my Love in the Spotlight series. Basically, each couple is in the spotlight. So in A Run at Love, you meet Piper McKinney and Tucker Hell, who Piper McKinney is a transracial adoptee. Her parents are Caucasian. She grew up in horse country. Um, and she wants to own a horse that goes all the way to the Kentucky Derby. And her best friend is Tucker Hill. He's a horse trainer, and he agrees to train her horse. So it's a friends to lovers trope, but it's also, about identity. And as you mentioned, I write Christian fiction, so there's faith arc that goes on as well. Um, and I don't want to give it all away, but
No.
there's plot twist that puts them in the spotlight, and they have to arise through challenges that get thrown at them.
Okay. It's not a lot of books that feature horse trading or training or
Yeah, what gave you that idea? Is that something that you have an interest in personally?
Actually, no. Piper just came into my mind that way. I saw her riding a horse. I knew instinctively she was in Kentucky. And so it was a matter of figuring out how she got there. Because like you said, there's not a lot of Kentucky Derby books. Definitely not a lot where the African American is like the main feature or the
right.
owner of the horse. So I just kind of wanted to explore that and um, put representation there where you don't often see it.
Love that.
Yeah.
And I think it
So
opens people's eyes up to something new.
Exactly.
yeah. So did you have to study horses and race horse racing and horse training to write the book, or did you just basically use your imagination?
Oh no, I definitely have to study it. I knew nothing about horses. I mean, my like one horse encounter was probably when I was like 3 years old, and who can remember that? So I did a lot of research. I talked to someone who actually owns a partial percentage in a racehorse. She was able to read my rough draft and tell me, yes, your research was correct, or change things here and there. Um, but it was really difficult subject for me, just because I was so ignorant in all the ways of horses.
Well, it was something you challenged yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
When it came into your mind, then you had to fill in the blanks, so to speak.
Yes.
So you had your characters. Now, the transracial adoption angle. Do you have an interest in that? What made you use that as your one of your plot twists or
Um,
character development in your character development?
yeah, personally, I've always been interested in adoption. I'm not sure if I'll ever get to fulfill that dream. So it was nice to look at it in a book world and book setting. But I also know a few authors that I've become friends with who they have they've been involved in transracial adoptions. So I got to pick their brain and ask them, like the hard questions. Um, they were really nice and accommodating. Being authors, they know we like ask those intrusive questions like, what's it like? Do people stare at you? And then I try to listen to some podcasts as well, just to hear from the adoptees' point of view, what it was like in a transracial household. So it definitely made for an interesting plot, um, because it's part of Piper's, exploration of her identity as who is she since she grew up in a predominantly white area. And she's, was born in Africa but raised in America. Um, is she, who her DNA is? Is she, subject of her surroundings? All of that was fun to explore because I feel like anyone can identify with that, even if they haven't exactly been in that situation.
We had an author on the show that wrote a book about she was adopted by white people, and but I can't remember her name. I want to say Shannon Gibney, but I might have the wrong name. But she had a very interesting story because she said people. I think she was given up for adoption, but people assumed that people would tell her aren't you glad that your growing up is, you had more privileges and had more affluence compared to what it could have been, but she said she wouldn't know what it would have been because she only knows what she grew up in. So she said people would assume that she knew what her life would have been like. And I think I don't want to, I think her actual birth parents or birth mother was in a poverty. It was a challenging upbringing. It would have been a challenging upbringing. So, but she said she didn't know anything about that. So all she knows is what she experienced growing up. And it was challenging because she said people would see her and see her parents and they would be confused. It was challenging. That's what she said. I need to go back and find out who that was. We're getting close to 700 guests that we've had on the show in
Wow.
4 years. So yeah. So I know a lot of them by name, just from memory, but it's like a library in my brain. It's hard to recall them all. But I go back and create reels of the interviews, like a 2 minutes of them and repost them. And that helped bring them back to my memory a lot of times. But it's a lot of people we've talked
Yeah.
to.
700 is amazing.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is. We're not quite there. We're like at 670, I think, something like that. So,
Well, the good thing is it opens our eyes to amazing authors. We get to meet so many new people, such as yourself.
Right. You
yes,
guys kind of have the best job, right?
yeah, and I think you came across our radar. New books you have, the new book that you released. When the new books circulate, we see them, and sometimes we'll invite people on if it sounds like it's a subject that people might want to know, or especially if the person has a body of work, because we like to bring people on that have a career in writing. And so, how many books have you published so far?
So I'm at 29.
20. And I'm
Wonderful.
almost. Are you surprised, Rhonda, at how many people have like dozens of books?
No,
I,
I'm not surprised because there
it's
are
a
so many
lot of
people.
people.
No, because there's so many people who are writing now, and they're like really pouring into the pool of literature. I'm always surprised at the amount of time that people have to write these books.
Yeah, that too. I'm just, well, it surprises me when I learn about somebody new that I didn't really know about, and they've written like dozens of books, because we pride ourselves on keeping our ear to the ground, which we do because we're the platform of record for African American literature. That's our moniker. But there's lots of people, and there's lots more. There's always more people that have been writing books for years and years and years, or just getting started, and they're prolific.
Yes.
Mhm.
And speaking of books, I believe you have the Christmas Catch is coming out next month, right? September
Yes,
24th.
it is. Yep, I
That's
can't wait for that
awesome.
one.
And it says it's also going to be available in Target, so we can find this book everywhere, basically.
Yes, I'm really excited. This will be my third book that's been released in Target, and so A Run at Love is actually in Target as well.
Okay.
Okay, so it's going to be physically in Target. We're not talking Target.com, but we're talking physically. I can
on the
walk into
shelf.
Target and get the book. It'll be on the shelf.
Yes.
That's huge.
Oh, definitely. I don't know. It's one of those things where like my book is in Target. It feels really surreal to walk in there and see it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
some authors,
congratulations.
they
Thank
go in
you.
the store and then they'll find their book and they post the pictures on Instagram or Facebook. That's exciting. To and some people see their books in airports, like they go to
Yes.
the airport and
Now,
then see
see,
their
that's
book
what
in
I
the
like,
yeah,
being
that
able to see your book in an airport.
airport.
Because
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
there are people buying books at the airport. You're going to
Mhm.
take that long trip and you need a book. And
Yeah.
so I love watching people go into the airport bookstores.
Oh, I always go to the airport bookstores just to see like what do they have, anything interesting, because you
Yes.
never know what you're gonna find.
Yeah. Now, are all of your books in the Christian fiction category, the genre?
They they are.
Okay. So do you run out of ideas on, or how do you continue to come up with ideas that are faith-based, that are the angle is faith-based? Like, what
Um,
do you use do you start with that when you write it, or do you start with the people and the storyline and then take the faith part and insert it?
that's a great question. I definitely do not run out of ideas. My brain is always thinking. So I usually have like a little running file I keep of any ideas if I know I can't work on it right away. And then usually I do characters first. I like to
Yeah.
know like who they are, where they came from, what their faith is like, their parents, all of those things that make them them. And then I kind of let them tell the story. Um, but it's helpful to know like all that information about them. Um, I don't know, it's just the way my brain works. Once I know
Yeah.
them, then I can actually tell the story.
Yeah, I love doing character profiles. Get to know them before you know their story, And then I usually tell my clients, it's about, those intricacies, those little small things you don't think about because you can weave them throughout the story. And
Mhm.
sometimes those intricacies can tell the story better than the narration can.
Definitely, because I'm a pantser, meaning I don't plot, and I'm more often surprised by what pops up for my characters than if I had plotted it and had, the storyline fixed in my mind of what would happen. But when you let, their quirks come out, their
Yes.
habits, they start t telling you about like, things that might have wounded them as a child, and you're like, oh, well, that makes sense of why you are the way you are now. Um, it's
Yeah.
like those all add up and it makes the story a lot interesting to write.
Yeah. Now I can't say that I'm a total pantser. But I'm not a total planner either. I mean, I like to at least know where the story's going, but then when I start writing, if my character decides to take me there or take me there, I'm not going to say no, I'm not doing it because I have to go here. So
Right.
I'm going to let the character take me, but I at least want to have an idea of where the character's going.
Well, I feel
And
like writing romance, I know what the end is. It's a happily ever after.
That's true.
How they get there is the whole mystery.
okay, so are your books, what I want to back up a minute. For those who may not know what pantser is, uh, it's a term for authors, for writers, that this is my interpretation. And Rhonda and Toni, you all can, if you have a different interpretation, then feel free to input. But it's kind of like going by the seat of your pants. I am more of a pantser. I know how my story is going to start. I know who my main character is going to be. And I kind of sort of know the end, maybe. But how they get from the beginning to the end, it develops as I'm writing. I can't,
Mhm.
like an outline to me, it would stifle my writing process if I
Yeah.
had like this hard. Now I do an outline when I write nonfiction, like if I'm writing a how-to book or, a book that's on a particular factual topic, then I have an outline because the outline is basically the chapters. But when I write fiction, I'm a pantser. Now, is
Yeah.
that your interpretation, Rhonda, you and Toni?
Well, I'll let Toni go.
Okay.
No, I totally agree. I'm always saying if I have to write an outline, it's gonna make me break out in hives, and I don't want to write the story now because I know how it ends. Like there's no fun to
Not break out in hives.
it.
No, that's why I like to write at least a light outline just because I want to know where where it's going. But I have totally just said, okay, this is what the story is going to be about, and then I start writing. But now I have a book that I'm about to start working on now, and I really want to make sure that the time hacks are just right. So I'm doing somewhat of a more rigid timeline or outline with this one. But for my regular contemporary fiction, I'm not as rigid with it. So I think like both of you are saying, it just kind of depends on the book that you're writing.
Yeah.
So when your people, when they exercise their faith, or when their faith is part of their decision making, how do you decide to put that in? Like, do you have them attending church, and then like some books are very church based, some Christian fiction books, like the whole thing is in church or after church or
Yeah, they're
it's
always in church.
church related, but some are just faith related. So how would you describe yours? Oh, you muted yourself.
Oh, sorry. Thanks.
Okay. Mhm.
They don't always go to church, but there's definitely prayers. There's definitely seeking God's wisdom. Um, they're, that they're Christians, like from
Mhm.
every little thing, whether it's because, they're reading the Bible somewhere, or they're
Mhm.
seeking God, or they're praying, or asking for wisdom, or attending church. Like it's through the whole book. It's whatever fits the characters and the story, is usually how I get it. So if you have someone who's not a believer, but by the end they are, then I'm gonna have, some kind of conversion moment, whether it happens in a church or, you know, between two friends, whatever fits that person. And then sometimes there's not a single church scene at all, but you still know that they are Christians and they've had, doubts with their faith or whatever the case may be.
It sounds like a little bit of a departure. I remember Christian fiction used to be very rigid.
It used to be very
The
churchy
characters
too.
are, yes, the
Mhm.
characters were only allowed to do this, or this. They're not
Mhm.
allowed to cuss. They're not allowed to go to
Have
the
they
club.
don't
They're
have
not allowed to do
sex.
anything. Yeah, they're not allowed to have sex. There's none at all. They can only go to church or talk about church.
Yeah, they
But
can't
I
even think
think
about sex.
yeah, I think as years have gone by,
It's less rigid.
people have kind of loosened up a little bit when it comes to Christian fiction.
They have, because it used to be extremely churchy. Like in the early days of Christian fiction, it was much more churchy.
Yeah, I think people want more, authenticity these days. So they want to see
Mhm.
the struggles that people have. And I think that's one of the beauties of being able to write like all different characters with different faith backgrounds is to show like whatever struggles they have. Um, I've had characters who, were alcoholics, um,
Hmm.
non-believers, like whatever the case may be. And through it all, like you get to show God's grace, and then show how people handle, being a new creation.
Yeah, the earlier books also used to, and I'm a PK, so I give myself license to critique. But they used to have people like sitting around quoting scriptures, and I'm like, who actually does this? I don't know any people that just sit around and do that. But a lot of the earlier books, they were very, very churchy. I'm glad that they've allowed Christians to be humans,
Right.
and not like Bible robots, you know.
We're
Uh,
imperfect people
yes,
Exactly.
who strive for perfection.
yes,
Yeah.
and that's what we should be doing as believers. That's what we should be doing. So, now you said this was, which one was this? Did you say this was part of a series
I did. Yes.
around that love? So, what was the first book? You said this was the second book.
Yes, the first book's called The Love Script. So it was a fake dating um book. So the hero's a Hollywood actor. He's Christian, and he's like known for his faith. And paparazzi snaps a photo with him and a hairstylist, and it looks inappropriate, so they fake date to save his reputation. So it was a lot of fun to write.
Okay, now do you have a copy of that one handy that you can show us?
Not
No?
within reach.
Okay. Okay. Well, I wanted people to know. So the first book was called, say the
The
name
love
again,
script.
The
The
Love
first book's
Script.
the love script. Yes.
Okay, and the second one is A Run at Love.
Yes.
And then is there a third? Is there going to be a book 3?
Yes. Book 3 is the final book. It's called The Nature of Love, and that one comes out in February. So I don't have any copies of that yet, but it's already available for pre-order.
Oh,
Why did you
okay.
decide to make it the final? You don't want to keep the series going?
It was mostly because of that's how I had the contract
I
with the
see.
publisher.
Oh, okay.
So
Thought you were going to
who's your
be like
publisher?
James Patterson and just say, okay, I'm killing Alex Cross off. I'm tired of doing Alex Cross.
Yeah, who's your publisher, Toni?
I'm published by Bethany House.
Okay. Yeah, Bethany House is they do a lot of contemporary Christian. I think they do historical too, don't
Yes,
they?
they do.
Okay. Yeah, they've been around a while.
Yeah.
So did you do any of your books indie? Did you indie publish any of them?
I did. I started off indie. So I consider myself more like a hybrid going back and forth between the two. But no, a lot of my books were indie published, and then in 2020 I signed with Bethany House and started publishing with them as well.
So
Okay.
you've kind of been on both sides of the spectrum, independent as well as traditional.
Yes.
And I've had this conversation before, and I tell people all the time that when you're trying to choose between independent and traditional publishing, it really depends on you. It really depends on are you going to have time for this? Are you going to be able to make deadlines? Because if you're going to be traditional, you have specific deadlines that you have to meet.
Right.
And I don't think everybody's ready for that.
Yeah, I agree.
So Toni, we're at the end of our interview time. So if you can hold your book up again, the latest one, so people can see A Run at Love, and the book is available wherever books are sold, I believe, and it will be in Target as well.
Yes.
So congratulations on that and the exposure and all of your writing, all of your books and your writing career. Congratulations on all of that.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah. All
Well,
right. Well, you have a great night. Thank you for everything you're doing. I did put your link in the chat for anybody who wants to support these books. Just go to, and what is that? books2read.com/u/ okay, then it's like a bit.ly link after that. Just look in the chat.
yeah.
And click on the books to read link so you can find these books.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
You have a great night.
You
Have a
too.
great night. Okay. All right. So we are going to do our book giveaway that I didn't get to do last week because I couldn't do it all, and Rhonda has spoiled me. So I'm so used to you doing the back end. So we're giving away, this is an art in this Kwan's newest book, False Idols. And let's see, can you all see that? False Idols by Kwan. And we have a trivia question. And the trivia question for this book is the the King clan, which is at the center of this story, is compared to a family on a hit TV sensation. What's the name of the TV show? And all of our trivia is in the synopsis of whatever book we're giving away on any particular week. So if you name the first person to name the TV show wins the book, and it will be mailed to you within a few days. So our next guest is no stranger to Black Authors Matter TV, and his name is Marc Lacy. I met Marc when he was first writing. I think maybe his first book had come out. He was at one of our early book festivals, maybe the first one. No, I think he was at the second one or the third. He was at one of the early ones. Anyway, Marc, welcome back to Black Authors Matter TV, and congratulations on your new book. You need to unmute. So let's see. Let's do that. Let's unmute so we can hear you.
And stop squinting and looking at the screen like an old man.
Unmute. All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Well,
Welcome.
thank you so much for having me. And it's a pleasure and a blessing to be back once again.
Yeah, I think this is your third appearance, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Yeah, it is.
In 4 years. I think you were on the first year, and then maybe a year and a half ago was your last time on. I'm just guessing, but I think it was about a year and a half ago. So you have a new book out, and so
yes,
we wanted you to come back and talk about the new book, but also update. Now, I remember when you were on, I think I had you on during Black History Month last year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, you have a new book out, and you kind of mix things up with what you do. So tell us what genres your books are in, because you don't just stick to one.
Right. Okay. So yes, I definitely would like to think of myself as a multi-genre author. And actually, when I saw the advertisement, I said, okay, I could use that tag.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out because I have to give everybody a label, and not everybody sticks strictly to one genre where you can, say that. So
right. So I came into the game actually 20 years ago as a poet, and I knew, and my representation at the time said, now you're pretty much going to typecast yourself coming into this game as a poet, young African-American male, and your demographic is the African-American female, and you go into these book club conferences, and those ladies are going to want to hear you say some sultry poetry. And look, I'm saying sultry because there's another word that I don't want to use. And so, but I was encouraged because I had always written flash fiction for years. So I was encouraged to test my hand at fiction. So about 6 years after I got published, did a fiction short story book called Wretched Saints, and that was in conjunction with author Ashanti Faye Howard. And so that was like my test bed for fiction. And then 5 years after that, full blown with the Whiskey House trilogy. And I thought at that particular juncture, I was just going to stick with fiction, but I'm a poet, spoken word artist by nature and by trade. So I had to go ahead and just release my poetry vault in, was it 2023, which was comprised of 7 poetry books.
Yeah.
And so after that, I had one left in the tank. And that's when I did the second part of Rock and Fire Love Poetry from the Core. So we arrived with Coco Inferno. And so we are here now. But as you can see, over the 20 years, I have flipped the script as far as genres are concerned. Went from poetry to fiction short stories, back to poetry, to a fiction trilogy, and then poetry once more. And now I'm actually working on another fiction trilogy.
I didn't realize you had released a bunch of poetry books last year.
I think you released about 7 or 8 of them all at one time.
Okay, so I released a total of 8 books last year, of which 7 were in the poetry vault. And the 8th book was actually the 3rd installment of the Whiskey House trilogy. And that was The Ghost of Ace Honeycutt.
That was the one I read.
Okay. Oh, you read The Ghost of Ace Honeycutt? So you read the
Yes.
third one, but you didn't read the first.
Oh, shoot, now.
But I'm glad you read the third one, but now you got to go read the first one and the second one.
Okay.
Well, see, I knew about the fiction, but I missed the poetry vault release.
Yeah.
So how did you do that with the poetry? How did you decide to organize them? Were they in date order? Is it subject matter? What is it? How did you group them to come up with 8 poetry books?
Well, okay, so that's a good question. So I had now 2 of them, and I actually thought I ran an ad with you as well. So I'm gonna have to go back and look at that.
You might
And,
have,
and
but
so
I'm doing so much stuff
right.
between the show and my own books.
So
I try to keep it all in here, but sometimes it's
understood. Understood. So actually 2 of them were love poetry. And so on those, I think the title of those books were Enraptured Felicity and Beatific Ambrosia. And so on the cover of those books, I got some beautiful cover models from my hometown of Huntsville, Alabama. There were 5 models on each cover.
okay.
And so, when I do projects like this, I like to be all inclusive. I like to, if I have a talent resource, definitely want to put those resources on display. So that worked out well. And then the other 5 there was one that was dedicated to odes. I did odes to certain public figures. One of them talked about social issues. Another one talked about general life issues. And there was one that talked about taboo issues, so on and so forth. But I had so much poetry, it was kind of hard to itemize it and divide it like that. So, because somebody asked me in another interview, how did you come up with this magic number of 7? And I said, well, I wanted to put a similar amount in each book. So each book roughly has about 80 to 85 original pieces in it.
That's a lot of poetry.
It is a lot of poetry.
And now, mind you, it was not written overnight. It's the vault. You know how Prince, not comparing myself to Prince, but how Prince had the music vault?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I know so many people who have written so many works, whether they're articles, short stories, blogs, but they're afraid to release them. I said, I got all of this poetry stored in my external hard drive, and it would be a shame not to release it. It had been, and a lot of it had been written a long, long, long time ago. So I said, I'm going to go ahead and get this organized. And it took me a while to get it organized. And I said, I've got to get this 3rd installment out of the Whiskey House trilogy. And so I just went ahead and released 8 at the same time. Somebody's like, well, who does that? And I told him, I said, when you're an independent author, it doesn't matter who did it.
That's true.
You can do what you can
You
do. You can release one book or 20. If you have them, you can do whatever.
Well, now, let me ask you this. So, when you said you pulled some poetry out that you wrote quite a while ago,
right?
Did you feel that you had to kind of brush them off a little bit? Did you have to tweak them a little?
Okay, so good question. There were some I did, and some, Rhonda, I left in the original form because I wanted to show the readers the evolution of my writing. So I wanted to show them that, okay, this is how I wrote in 2005. This is how I wrote in 2010. And I did add some current poetry as fillers for those books as well.
Okay, so it was like a true evolution then.
Right. And had I been thinking about it, I would have had them in my hand in reaching distance, like the previous guest said, and I could show the covers, but they're all on my website and they're all on Amazon.
Okay, now do you have a
y'all
copy
come on
of
the
your
show
new
to talk
one?
about your books and forget to bring your book with you?
Well, see, I didn't know we were going to talk about the poetry vault per se.
Oh, okay. So, but you do have your Coco Inferno book handy, I hope.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Now, is this one related to the whiskey books?
No,
Or
no. This
this
is
is a
the
standalone?
when Rock and Fire Love Poetry from the Core was released in 2007. I thought that was going to be it. And by the way, I don't know if you remember from the author back in the day who wrote the intro, Jamise Dames wrote the intro to that.
I remember the name.
So
I remember the name.
And she wrote a dynamic intro for that book. And so also, I forget the individual literary awards. I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly. But in 2007, Rock and Fire Love Poetry from the Core was the runner-up book to a Nikki Giovanni book that actually won Poetry Book of the Year.
Oh,
So
that's good company.
yeah.
I know that's second place like a mug, but
yeah.
I mean, you don't get a medallion for second place. You don't get a silver medal, but that said something. So I was really proud of that. But that was it. And then so several years later, now the person who shot the cover and designed the cover is from my hometown, a photographer named Richie Carter, and the cover model's name is Sylvia Smith. She's a makeup artist. So we got into the 2020s, and I was hearing grumblings. Hey, sure would like a second version of Rock and Fire. I remember Rock and Fire, bye. And so I talked with my constituents and said, hey, if you're really feeling it, then let's go ahead and do it, because I've actually got some poetry that can really complement the direction in which we're trying to go. And so lo and behold, 15, 16 years later, same cover models, the same photographer shot it, but a different person designed it. And this is Rock and Fire Part 2, and the subtitle is Tempting Lyrics of Blazing Mahogany Ecstasy.
Okay.
Even the subtitle is poetic.
Yeah.
So
so do you do spoken word? Do you do live poetry?
I mean, I've actually toured the nation as a spoken word artist.
Did you do some of your poetry at one of our festivals?
It may have been
the
with the Love Literature Tour.
Yeah,
I may have done something like in 2012 or what have you.
It was before then. Or no,
I know
it was
the first
around
time
then.
I came was before then, but the Love Literature Tour came around 2012.
Yeah.
Now I can't recall having. I performed in Houston before, but I'm not sure I performed at the National Black Book Festival.
Okay, I'm trying to remember it, because I know you all, when you all were touring the Kings of Literature, you were part of that group.
Yeah, the Love Literature Tour. Yeah, we went to Denver, Atlanta, Nashville, Houston, Dallas.
Was it you? It was you, Brian Smith, and Ricky Teams.
Vincent Alexandria.
Okay.
I don't want to leave anybody out. Moses Miller.
Okay.
Not everybody went on. Not everybody made it to every stop. Jihad. Author Jihad was there as well.
Yeah. Okay.
And there is another. I think Denver is probably the only stop where all 7 of us were there. And we were hosted by the single mothers of color, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But again, I don't like to name names. I don't like to leave anybody out. But I know at one point it was a total of 7.
7. Okay. Yeah. And that was a good concept.
Right. Definitely some good company for sure.
Yeah. And most readers are women, so
right.
That's just factual. And that's across all nationalities.
Right.
75%.
Back in the day, if there were male authors at the book signing, we knew that they were getting all the
they would get all the attention.
Right.
And sometimes you would need some there just to bring some extra people in who wouldn't come otherwise.
Right.
That's just marketing.
Oh, most definitely.
Can't get mad at it.
Yeah, no. So I was scrolling I'm behind on my scrolling because I want to be current with the comments.
No, you're good so far.
Okay, well, I'm still scrolling up, and every time somebody new is watching it, it comes on, and so I wanted to make sure I was current. So, but I know you keep track of it better than I do. So, anyway, so Mark, if you had to give advice to a person, because you've been in this game, I'll just use that term, for a long time.
Yes.
And I come across people, as I'm sure you do, all the time, first time authors that they believe that the one book that they've written, they're going to set the world on fire with the one book.
Right.
So, as a person who's multi-published, multi-genre published, and been doing this for 2 decades, what advice would you give to a new writer?
Well, I would always tell them, don't look at it as a sprint, look at it as a marathon, but don't wait to start the marathon. You need to hurry up and start the marathon. Also, don't wait on the stars to align. That's never going to happen. I even heard one person say, don't wait on stars to align. You reach up in the sky, move them around, and form your own constellation. So no time is the perfect time to get started, basically.
Okay.
So, and I would also tell them to make sure that, whether you're actually in it for the long haul or not, plan like you're going to be in it for the long haul.
Absolutely.
That you can cultivate that mentality of, I need to invest in this. I need to invest in my brand. I need to not think about necessarily writing that bestseller per se, but what can I do to become the best writer that I can be? How can I improve and evolve my writing at the release of every project? And also they should have a discernment from, one, being a writer, and then two, understanding the business of publishing. And also 2.5, understanding how the landscape evolves very quickly in publishing. When I first got in the game in 2004, man, things evolved so fast. And I was like, wow, you got to eat your Wheaties just keeping up with the trends. And I would also tell them, even though doing your research and trying to keep up with the trends and understanding the literary business takes some work, don't be intimidated by it, because the more you learn, the better chance that you're going to get as far as putting yourself in the best position to be successful as an author. And success as a writer and an author is very, very subjective.
Yes. Everybody has a different idea.
Right.
Probably a universal idea, especially for new authors,
Right.
is to have your first book that you wrote, which is more than likely, more likely than not, that's an
Right.
autobiography.
Right.
Then you're not going to sell 1 million copies. I mean, that's not going to happen. And you're not going to be on Oprah, even though Oprah doesn't exist anymore as a show.
Right.
But like you say, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's, you have to, everybody I know that's been successful, whatever breakthrough they got, it wasn't on their first book.
Right.
Unless they were already a celebrity. That's different. That's
a different story, correct?
Different story, because the celebrities, they don't even write their books. They have a ghostwriter, and so that's a whole different game. But it's a long-term thing. Unless you just want it to be a one-off. You just want to write one book just to get it out of your system. A lot of people do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So what I've come across is that, and again, I'm not trying to judge anybody. Everybody's got their own ideas and everybody's got their own objectives. But when they ask me, I'm going to tell them. And listen, if you can write a banger your first book and retire off of that, more power to you. But nowadays, I think so many people are focused on the prospect of going viral simply because, like, when you look at the record industry, the new record label is social media or YouTube,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And
Or
so
TikTok.
from an author perspective, if you are already an influencer and people like everything that you say, you could be on there talking about drama all the time because people love to hear about drama. Oh, and by the way, I'm about to drop my new book. Bam, that's a whole different ball game. And so, but at the same time, you almost have to have that mentality of the biggest loser or a person who wins the lottery. What happens? You win $1 billion, but this didn't change. The mindset didn't change. Or what happens on the biggest loser a lot? Once the show ends, they gain that weight back. And I always say it's all about your process. If you can start from scratch and develop yourself, develop your craft, develop your brand, and regardless of what you're doing on social media, keep developing your writing skills, keep developing marketing ideas, and in your business plan, don't base everything on the prospect of going viral. But if you should go viral, just be ready for it. But I will say this, if you've taken the time and put the work in to develop your foundation, nobody's going to be able to take that away from you, period.
Absolutely.
And again, going viral, what goes up fast comes down fast.
Yeah, I was just going to say that going viral is short-lived.
Right.
Every day there's somebody else who's viral.
Well, the thing about going viral is that you can't just live on that. You
Right.
need to build a platform, even with your book. Don't just depend on the book. Start to build a platform and make the book part of that platform, or going viral part of that platform, but it shouldn't be everything.
Right.
And it's so unpredictable, and it's really out of your control.
It is, because the news
what
cycle
goes
is so fast.
viral is like, it's like the lotto. It's like,
Right.
you can't predict it necessarily. And a lot of the stuff that does go viral is drama, or just something cute. It's random. It's totally random.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what's gonna go viral and what isn't. Like, I don't know if y'all remember, this has been maybe, and I'm hoping you all saw it, so you know what I'm referring to. But this was about, I want to say 4 years ago. It might have been during COVID. I don't know. But it was a cute video of a Black father talking to his toddler son, but the toddler couldn't actually talk. So they were having like a back and forth conversation, and the toddler was responding in basically baby talk, but he filmed it and it went viral. And I think he ended up on Good Morning America or a show like that, but it was quick. It was like a flash. It went viral. He was on TV for a week or two, and then that was it. Y'all remember that? It was a young Black father, and his son was a toddler, and I want to say the son might have been.
No, I haven't seen that, but I will say that there was a young man who used to make his friends exercise. And he would always say, "Strength, no mercy." He was a Jamaican kid, and he would have his kids doing push-ups and sit-ups and everything. And he's older now. He's probably either a teenager or in his early 20s, but now he's a motivational speaker. So that's why I'm saying that you can take your viral moments and build a platform with it. You just can't depend on going viral with every video.
Right. And I would say try to go viral on something that's uplifting or positive. I don't know. There's so much, the algorithm forcing stuff on your feed.
Yeah, like the
You
demure
know.
girl. She said that changed her life. She said demure one time on TikTok and started a whole trend. Now everybody's talking about being demure and mindful
Mhm.
and cutesy. And it's a whole trend on TikTok now. And she said that changed her life just because she said it that one time.
I said, I didn't even know about that one. So that's another thing. Something can go viral and you don't need like everybody to see it. You can get, maybe 500,000 people seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes a big difference.
It's all right.
I
We're gonna make Marc's books go viral. We're gonna
yeah.
say you need to do your books demure, be mindful.
Yeah, Coco Inferno. Okay, so in the last 4 minutes, do you have a poem in your mind that you can recite that to take us out?
Actually, I do not.
You do not.
Actually, I do not. But I will say that I've got plenty of poetry written, and I've got plenty of poetry recorded out there. The digital downloads are available everywhere. Music can be downloaded, iTunes and all of those places. And also, wherever books are sold. So, and then of course, there are a couple of places where you can peek inside as well. But and I will say this about viral. I had to make this point. I'm sorry for going back to this. The bottom line is you don't ever want to put yourself in a position to where you have to sell your soul to what made you famous.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
That's what I'm
because
saying.
you sell your soul to that and you cannot get it back.
Right.
So, but at any rate, I've got in 20 years, I got my poetry everywhere. So, but again, I'm still multi-genre. I am also in the process of writing another trilogy.
Okay.
So getting back into the fiction. And what I'm trying to do now, I was advised to don't stagger the release of those books, but try to release them all at the same time. And so, and by the way, Coco Inferno has a fiction short story in the final chapter. And so, and because, most of the time I actually do poetry, I just didn't have anything on my mind. I will do a piece real quick, real short piece from the first chapter called Cocoa Powder Flow.
Okay.
And it reads, as she slept, my nose crept into the, listen, no, I don't think I can do that. I don't think they're ready for that. Actually, I had from another interview, I had some poetry selected and I lost my doggone sticky that I had. And I always like to do pieces when I get on here. I just didn't have one off the top of my head ready because I was gonna dig into some other publishing stuff during the interview. Let me. I don't want to do it.
Okay. Well, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, but I had some certain pieces from this book that I thought were PG rated.
Okay.
It's not. Listen, I don't call this book. It's not erotica. I call it mature romance, mature romantic poetry. But it's not suitable. Like, for instance, I had an interview at a gospel station, and the person who interviewed me, they did not necessarily want to talk about the poetry per se. They wanted to talk about my process for writing, but they let me advertise the book. And so now let me do this though. Let me read. I can read the back of the book.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
As if rock and fire love poetry from the core weren't enough, now you have to deal with this cocoa explosion of heated lyrics, which causes passion to burn upon contact. Tempting lyrics of blazing mahogany ecstasy That's right. Welcome to the Here and Now, introducing Rock and Fire Part 2, Coco Inferno. Your mind may say no, but your eyes will definitely say yes upon your attention being held hostage should you be brave enough to crack open the cover. If you feel guilty after the poetry begins performing a rhapsodic transfusion of your literary subsystem, it only means your appetite for indulgence is authentic. But please be warned, after about the fifth cold shower, they will no longer be effective to offset the impact of the slowly encroaching heat wave.
Okay.
See, that's why I said you are a true poet, because that was just the description on the back of the book.
Yeah, and a romantic.
Right. So now my style has evolved because listen, I'm traveling across the nation. Them ladies do not want to hear a brother stand up there and recite some politically correct poetry.
They don't.
They don't.
Yeah.
They want to hear the most whatever rated poetry you have.
Yeah, I get it.
They want to do it. They want you to do it. So
yeah, that's why they show up.
right.
Well, Marc,
I will say, Marc, I love looking at your evolution. You know, we started in this game the same year, 2004.
Well, I was a little bit ahead of you all, but
yeah. No, Marc and I met each other at the Queen's Book Fair. Back in 2004, and we were both new authors, both promoting our first books, and so we've kind of seen each other's evolution over the years. So it's always a pleasure to be able to see you doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to connect with. I don't want to say old friends, but connect with friends from back in the day, and we're still friends to this day. And and I was looking at the screen. I don't know why the doggone closed caption is on my screen. So the words are just flying across my face for some reason.
Okay,
no, it's not on setting on my part.
Yeah, it's not on this end, so you're good.
Okay. So, yeah, because I was looking at it on the actual page, and I was like, oh man, I must have hit something I shouldn't have hit. But
no, online on Facebook, it's closed caption.
Right. Okay.
The show is closed caption.
Right.
It is. So, because even when you do the replay, like it'll be closed caption. So, because sometimes people they have the volume low, so they don't want to miss any of the words.
I just hate it's got to go across my face. That's all.
Oh.
That's all.
Well, don't worry, we don't see it.
No, it's not on the screen here.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, actually, it is on Facebook, but it's not on Facebook.
It's on Facebook, but not on here.
Yeah.
But it's all good. But anyway, Marc, thank you so much for being back on the show, and congratulations on the release of Coco Inferno. And it's great to see you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure and a blessing to be back here. Hey, visit marklacy.com, amazon.com. Please get your copy today, or copies.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Have a great night.
All right. Thank you. Likewise. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So regarding the book giveaway,
it was
Lydia Brew who won the book. So Lydia, the book will be on its way to you soon. So for our final guest, his name is Khanyon Jerome. I guess the Gary part that's going to come up on the screen is his middle name, maybe, because it's Khanyon G. Jerome. And as those of you who watch the show regularly know, that She Publishing LLC is a friend of the show, and we periodically will have authors that are published under that umbrella on the show. And they are also sponsors of the National Black Book Festival. They'll be in the house in October with several of their authors. So Khanyon, welcome to Black Authors Matter TV. And we're going to get you to unmute so
Yeah,
we can.
unmute and welcome to the literary world.
Hi,
How are you doing?
doing fine.
Great. And you write fantasy, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
In the fantasy genre? That's what I thought. So, first of all, welcome to the show. Congratulations on your recent work. And congratulations on being part of She Publishing LLC. Shanitha Burton is one of our great friends, and we met her through all the publishing and the work that we do with the festival and with this show. So we will periodically have some of the authors on that publish under her umbrella. So tell us how you became affiliated with She Publishing.
Well, I joined the last book fair that you guys did. And
Okay.
yeah, and that's where I met Shanitha and everything. She came over to my stall and everything. I gave her the whole rundown, whole spiel, and she was so moved by what I had to say that she was just like, I want you to be part of our family. I want to work with you and everything because
That's
she
wonderful.
believes in what I've written.
Yeah, several people have said that about different publishers that are at the festival, that authors end up signing with them or becoming part of their umbrella. And that's great. That's what it's all about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I've really heard that mostly about Shanitha. She's just a welcoming person. I see Marc
Yeah.
Beausejour is watching right now, and he was so moved by Shanitha that he transferred all of his books to her, and so he's a part of the She Squad. So it's just really great to see how her company has grown, and it's grown because she has a true love and a true compassion for the people who sign with her. So congratulations on being a part of that She Squad.
No, thank you. She's just really I don't know. She just has this aura about her that just like she believes in you, so you want to believe in her, and it's straight up magic.
Well, I'm
That's
gonna tell her
awesome.
you said that.
I'm sure she'll hear about it. Tell us about your book.
It's great.
So I wrote Echo's Tale, Burden of the Tale. And honestly,
You have
at
a
the
copy of it?
oh, what was that?
I didn't
Do you
want
have
to
a copy
interrupt
of
you,
your
but
book
that
with
way
you?
we can see what you're talking about. Do you have a copy of your book handy?
Ooh, not in arm's length right now.
No, okay. Because we like the audience to see the cover, so when they go buy the book, they know they're getting the correct book.
Well,
That's okay. We put your website in the chat. So
Oh, you did?
people can
Okay.
click on the link so they can see the book and they can see how to purchase it.
okay. It's hard to miss, anyways. But at the core of this book, it's really a love letter to my friends and a reflection of my personality and humor. And most of all, it's really kind of an offering to the Black community while still being something that the rest of the world can enjoy.
So
Um,
what's the plot?
the plot. So my book is about a dragon's tail that can about a dragon's tail that can cure anything. And the sickly king decreed that every man, woman, and child find this tail and deliver it to him. And it's up to my main protagonist, Colder, and his friends to steal this tail from the crystal dragon of the blue flame, Echo.
So it's a true fantasy.
Yes.
It's a other world. Is it another world? Is the future, the past?
Oh yeah, it's a Renaissance fantasy rather than a medieval fantasy. It's a Renaissance fantasy.
Okay.
So new ideas, new colors, more vibrant and everything. I'd say more emotionally driven.
It sounds like fantasy is your thing. It's like even before you started writing it, you were probably watching it, you were probably reading it and so forth.
Oh, for sure. I grew up watching Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, all of the Star Wars, and honestly, my dad made sure that it was ingrained in me that I was all in the nerd culture and everything. And I just like um I like the barrenness that like Renaissance fantasy has and everything. They're not technologically advanced and everything. They really have to use their grit to make something happen.
Nice. So you said your dad got you into, so I guess he was a big Trekkie and a big fantasy guy as well.
If I
Is
could
this
show
something that
you
you did
his game
together?
room, if I
I'm
could
sorry.
show you his game room, wall to wall, Star Trek, Star Wars, all of that stuff. Um,
Interesting.
Oh yeah, so you had no choice. You got it honestly.
yeah, no.
So did you all go to like, I know they have those like cons
Comic
where,
Cons.
yeah,
Oh,
or just different ones where they do fantasy stuff, or, all of
mhm.
the, I know they have one for anime. My daughter loves anime, but the fantasy people have their events, and then people dress up like in costume.
Oh
Have you
yeah, the
been to one of
Renaissance
those?
Fair.
Yeah.
I haven't been to a Renaissance Fair, and something happens every single time it comes into town where I can't go to it, and I hate myself every day because of it.
Well,
There's a
maybe the
Renaissance fair coming here to Northern Virginia. I think it's in Northern Virginia, Maryland. But I was thinking about going. I have my little outfit already, so I just want to wear the outfit.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
yeah, we have it here. It's not in Houston proper. It's somewhere close, like a far suburb. I can't remember the name of the suburb where it is, but it lasts for a whole month.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's a long
Yeah,
time.
it's a whole month long thing where people go and dress in the medieval. Well, it's more of a medieval, uh, but it's called the Renaissance Festival. I'm almost positive. Not called the Medieval Festival, but they dress in the garb of the 1400s and earlier.
Mhm.
You know, that time frame. Kind
Yeah.
of.
I think they just lump it all together. Heck, I've seen
Yeah,
some people
I
go in
think so.
like Star Trek outfits to the medieval festival
Oh,
and stuff, and so it really is just a melting pot of whatever you like
There you go.
yeah.
at this
Some
point.
people are just like costumes. I know Halloween is a big holiday here. That was one thing that because I moved here from the DC area, well, Washington DC proper. I've been here a long time, but when I first moved here, I noticed how big Halloween is here.
Mhm.
It wasn't celebrated as big. It might be now in DC. I don't know, but Halloween is big here. It's like the whole month of October. People are dressing.
I wouldn't know. I don't leave my neighborhood on Halloween. I might sit by the garage and give out some candy, but that's as far as I'm going.
Yeah, well, they have, they have the Halloween store. Do they have Halloween stores where you all are?
Oh yeah, every Halloween
Every major city has it,
spirit
but
pops
it
up
opens up
somewhere.
in September. Like I think they're open now. They
Yeah,
open up
probably.
early where people can.
So, Halloween should be a good time for you to really promote the book. And I think the book was just released in, what was it, April?
Yeah, yeah, it was April.
Mhm.
Wonderful.
Um,
So, have you, how has the feedback been so far? How are you still on a ride, on a high?
I'm trying to take it really one day at a time, trying to come up with new ideas to market it, and just really trying to spread the word. And honestly, I am looking forward to the Halloween time because, yeah, that is the right time to really market my book and everything.
Yeah,
So,
well, probably now would be a good time to start because what happens is people remember what they saw before.
mhm.
Before they actually want to make purchase, they need to see something that they could potentially buy, and then it'll be in their minds. Well, let me go get that for the holiday. Normally, that's you see how Walmart, if you go in stores now, they some of them have Christmas stuff up. I think it's a bit early, but they'll start kind of slow, and then once Labor Day comes, then they'll really start putting stuff out. So, they know
Right.
some people want to plan early, some people wait till the last minute. So um they plan for all of that.
Mhm. I think I just saw at Walmart the other day that they are putting up Halloween stuff, and I'm
Yeah.
sure it'll just be up for a week until they put up Thanksgiving things and then Christmas things.
Well, yeah,
Oh, they
Thanksgiving's
say
kind of
forget
skipped
Thanksgiving, they're
over.
going straight
Yeah,
for
they skip
Christmas.
over that except for the turkey. The food, that's when they start putting out stuffing. That's when you know Halloween is coming. The aisle in the end cap, that's what they call it, or the aisle display will start having uh dressing, stuff for pies, sweet potatoes, marshmallows, pie crust. They'll start doing that. So is this your first book that you've written?
Yes, this is my first book.
So did you re-release it?
Yes, it is re-released and everything. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I had it with a different publisher before I met
Okay.
Shanitha, and then I
Hmm.
wanted to re-release with her because the last publisher wasn't really doing what I wanted them to do, really. I
Yeah,
felt
I've
like
heard
I was,
people say that before.
Yeah.
yeah, I felt like I was stranded on a desolate island most of the time from how much I talked to them or they reached out to me. And so Shanitha was a breath of fresh air.
That's wonderful. I like hearing that.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, do you think you want to do another book?
Oh yeah. I'm about, well, I don't want to say I'm halfway done because, that can definitely change to being a quarter of the way, um but I am currently working on the second one right now.
And
Awesome.
is it going to be a sequel or a standalone?
Sequel.
Okay.
I
So
want
you
to make
already
it
have the story written out in your head.
mhm. Yeah.
So when you re-release your book,
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about the process of doing that. What did you change? What adjustments did you make?
So one of the main changes was just going through it with a fine-tooth comb and making sure that there aren't any type of typos, maybe changing a phrase here, maybe taking another phrase out, that just doesn't work for where I am right now in my life. Um, and she was willing to keep it basically true to what it was originally, um, as far as the cover and the name and all that stuff. But yeah, I want to keep it at least the same as what it was before. So it was a pretty
Yeah.
easy process
So you
because of it.
didn't want your readers to feel like they were reading a whole new book.
Yeah, exactly.
So did you had the rights when you published before, you retained your rights, so you were able to republish it with another
Yeah.
publisher. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's good because some people, I've heard horror stories about people who want to move to another publisher, but they don't have the rights to their book. And so they signed the rights over to whoever the publisher was, which means normally the rights last for 7 years before you can republish if you sign your rights over to someone else. So, new authors, be careful about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wanted to
Because
make sure that I wasn't gonna get caught up like that either, because I worked that hard on it, and I'm doing all the legwork, and I don't want someone else to be like, well, no, technically it's mine.
Yeah, unfortunately, that happens a lot in this business.
Mhm.
does.
Well,
It
do
does.
you have any upcoming appearances, or are you coming back to Houston?
I don't know yet. I want to, and we're just trying to get the scheduling right. Because and now I have a daughter that just got born and everything. So
Oh,
um,
well, congratulations on being
Congratulations.
being a
thank you.
new dad. You're a new dad. This is your first child.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and I want to just make sure everything's right, so I'm not leaving my wife high and dry. Uh,
That's a
tomorrow.
good idea.
I would think so, yeah.
So
I would think
how old
she'll
is
be
your
very happy
daughter?
with that.
How old is your daughter?
She is 6 weeks
Oh,
today.
wow.
Oh, brand new daughter. Whoa, whoa.
Mhm.
Okay. So are y'all getting any sleep yet?
You know, she is the most sleepinest baby I've ever met. So going to sleep for her is not that big a deal. It's just making sure she's fed when she wakes up. That's really what it is.
Well,
So,
that's
Yeah,
good.
'cause she will make it known that she needs to be fed.
They
uh,
yeah, they
yeah.
let you know. They can't talk yet, but they let you know. And well, that's congratulations on that.
Yeah, I'm
Thank you.
happy for you. So, I
So
mean,
when
this has been a really good year for you. I mean, new baby, new book. What's next? Things have to come in threes.
Um, I don't know, but I really hope that it's something big, because that I want to do a lot of things with this book and everything. And so I just really want to focus on getting that exposure and making sure that people know where I am.
yeah.
Well, keep doing what you're doing.
Now, is your first name, are you named after someone? That's an
No.
unusual name.
Yeah. My name actually came out of an argument between my parents, because my father wanted to name me Arthur, and my mom didn't want me to be named Arthur, because he's the third. He wanted a fourth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I guess my dad got mad and was like, "Well, why don't we call him something stupid like Khanyon?" Because they saw a newspaper or something, and then it was it was one of those, "Oh, you got chocolate in my peanut butter. Oh, you got peanut butter in my chocolate. Oh, that actually sounds kind of nice."
Oh my
But then
goodness.
they
I can't
decide,
believe they told you that story.
so they
I love
decided
it.
on a different spelling.
Oh yeah. Um, yeah, my mom decided to forego the C and for KH and everything. Um, I'm not particularly sure why, but hey, I like it.
Different. It's different.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. You just never know. It's an unusual name, and a lot sometimes unusual names are combinations of other names, or they're a namesake of somebody. Somebody else's
Mhm.
middle name or first name, somebody from the past. Uh, so that's why I asked, because I don't have met anyone with that first name that I recall.
Oh yeah, I've
Yeah.
never met another Canyon a day in my life either.
At least you don't
So,
have to worry about people getting you mixed up.
Yeah, yeah, that's very true. Getting them to say my name right is the problem, but once they get it, they got it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, I
So,
actually have the book here.
okay, good, good.
Um,
Because we want viewers to be able to see what they're going to be purchasing.
it's a fresh in the package copy.
Okay,
Hold it closer to
move
you.
it closer to you.
There
Okay,
you
there
go.
you go.
There we
There it
go.
is.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Nice cover.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank
And the
you.
hand. Now, did you redo the cover when you did the re-release?
No, this one's still original from the last release.
Oh, so then you owned your own cover as well, because sometimes you have to change covers when you change publishers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do.
Yeah, I actually, well, okay, I can only take half credit for the cover because I made a crude drawing of what I wanted the cover to be, and then I got somebody to actually draw it properly.
Nice. That makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah. And that's good that you gave the concept because covers can be, it can be directions that are exact, or it can
Mhm.
be conceptual in terms of you have an idea, but you leave it up to their creativity. And then sometimes the artist just comes up with something on their own altogether. So it just depends.
Hmm.
I know
And I really
worked with
love
different
the
artists.
creative process of the publishing and everything, and so I really want it to be hands-on with a lot of the different illustrations that go on in the book also.
So is the book illustrated on the inside?
Yeah, it has it's not a lot of pictures, but there are different
Oh,
art pieces through.
okay. That's
Um,
different.
She Publishing wants to know, what is your daughter's name?
My daughter's name is Echo Ella Renee Gary.
Okay, so the echo on the front, Echo's tail,
Hmm.
you named her after the echo's tail?
Yeah,
Kind of,
so
sort of.
so the character Echo in the book was inspired off of my sister, to which me and my wife talked about it, and we really liked the name Echo, and so we wanted to name my daughter after the character in the book.
Oh, that is, I like that.
It is nice.
Mhm.
And it's a pretty name too, Echo.
It is. I like the name. Echo, that's different.
You know, speaking as somebody whose daughter's name is beautiful, I'm liking the unusual names.
Oh yeah.
Yes, her daughter's name is beautiful. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, and I know that can be kind of, people might say, she's beautiful, and you say, oh, she really is, and you know that's her name. I know you've encountered that before,
I
right?
know people thought that she was just being stuck on herself. And they said, what's your name? Beautiful? No, what's your name?
which is an appropriate response.
Yeah,
Like,
it
Right.
threw me off at first when I first heard you say. I thought you were saying she's beautiful, and I'm like, we think all of our daughters are beautiful. So anyway, but it's great. So congratulations again, Khanyon, on being a dad and having your book out and
Yes.
being with a new publisher. And thank you for being a guest on Black Authors Matter TV.
thank you for having me.
Okay, and
Thank you
hope to
for
see you
being here.
soon.
Really enjoyed you.
All right, thank you. Enjoy you too.
Okay. Well, everybody, that's our show for this week. I do want to tell people Rhonda and I will be at the Harlem Book Fair September 7th. So
It's
that's
right
not
around the
this
corner.
weekend. It's right around the corner. It's not this weekend. It's next weekend. And so it's an outdoor event. I'm hoping, keeping my fingers crossed for good weather.
No, don't
We
even
will,
mention it now.
we will have a tent, but you don't want, you know, I believe it's going to be a sunny day, and they always have lots of people. So we're excited. We're going to be um, distributing push cards about the show. We're going to have the line of T-shirts, that our new literary themed T-shirts. I'm not taking any books with me this time, not to New York.
Yeah.
But
I'll be taking a couple of books myself. I'll be taking Trust. I'll be taking A New Renaissance, and I'll have a
okay.
little bit of merch with me.
Okay, yeah, I just shipped a bunch of stuff. So I had to ship the shirts in advance. I am taking some with me. So anyway, we'll see you all next Tuesday. Have a great Labor Day weekend and good night to everybody. I'm Gwen Richardson signing off.
And I'm Dr. Rhonda Lawson. Have a wonderful evening and a great week.
Thank you for tuning in and join us next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern for another edition of Black Authors Matter TV.